this is your first time checking out my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with my latest content.
Still got your photograph in my pocket.
What's going on YouTube? It's Got the Knight here coming at you with yet another video, and today's video is actually the state of 4K with your CPU. I actually found this really interesting article on LinusTechTips.com, and it's about a AMD 8370 versus an Intel 5960X. So they're both hexa-core processors, so obviously one's $200, one's $1,000. So there's a giant difference between the two, but when it comes down to gaming, there isn't at all, because all these benchmarks were ran with SLI 970s. So let's get into them. First off was Crysis 3 at high settings. Average mind you. FPS on all of them, even when they were overclocked, was 61 frames per second. Now the interesting part is where you have them overclocked with the 8370 at 4.6 and the 5960 at 4.4. The lowest is 32 frames per second on the 8370, but the lowest is 29 on the 5960X. Now granted, some people may say that's within margin of error, but I see that as a pretty clear-cut victory for the 8370. Now we move on into the Witcher 3, yet again 4K settings, high SLI 970s. This one, yet again, can be considered within margin of error if you want to say so, but even overclocked, the 8370 beats out the 5960X 44 FPS on the 8370 versus 5960. Or on the 5960, 41. 3 frames per second, not a whole lot, but still it beats it. Minimums, it thrashes it. 21 for a minimum on the 5960 with 27 on the 8370. That is destroying it. That is not a margin of error. That's the 8370 clearly winning. If you don't agree with that, oh well. The link is down in the description to the article that I am reading, so you can always look at that. Next is Tomb Raider, which we all know is just purely for the most part GPU driven, but I will admit this one actually does, the 5960X does beat the 8370, yet again by margin of error of 1 FPS, with the average on the 8370 at 51 and the average on the 5960X at 52. Minimum frame rates, yet again, only one away from each other at 34 on the 8370 and 35 on the 5960X. So you don't see really any benefit going with that 5960 unless you are a content creator and you need that DDR4, that fast memory. Otherwise, for gaming at that 4K, two 970s and a 8370 is going to get you by really nicely. Not to mention it's fucking a lot cheaper, excuse my language for my younger viewers, but it is way cheaper. And I would recommend going that route versus the 5960X unless you do content creation, but that 8370 with those 8 cores is still going to be very nice. So if you want to go that AM3 platform because it's really cheap, or AM3 Plus platform, it's really cheap, you can get into a really nice gaming computer that way. So I would recommend still going that way. So like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, subscribe if you're new, and this is Got the Knight signing out.